This is News You Can Use.
So, Doug, right now, the Fed has raised interest rates 11 times. The average credit card balance in America is the highest it's ever been, and people are paying more interest than they've ever paid. So, every dollar that they had in the past to spend on something else, now they're chewing those dollars up to pay interest to destroy demand. Auto loans now, once upon a time, you'd hear, 1%, 0%. They're not any longer. Certainly, mortgage rates with a 7 handle is a lot. And so, how is it, if we shut down stimulus, how is it that there isn't a recession already?
Well, there was people did not spend all the money that was transferred to them immediately. In fact, a very significant share of the transfers went to paying down debt. So credit card debt went to historic lows. Auto loans actually fell off pretty significantly. And so in reality, what we did, because we funded this transfer at the federal level by a deficit spending, we transferred money to consumers who lowered private debt at the same time increasing the public debt. So we transferred that debt from private holdings to the public fisc. So that will have some implications. Today, the interest expense on that public borrowing now exceeds the Defense Department expenditures. I would guess that will become a political talking point at some point. That's a pretty dramatic shift. But as a result of that, consumer households are actually in pretty good financial shape. There's been some discussion of recent increases in delinquencies, and those are true, but they're from very low levels. So the level of, and I have some charts in the deck that show that we're basically just back to where we were in 2019. That's part of the reason that the consumer has been as resilient as they have, is because they were able to reduce their debt levels. And now, since the savings are exhausted, they're actually starting to increase rollover balances on credit cards. Higher income households are shifting away from credit card usage to debit card usage, which is a sign of financial conservatism. So you see in front of you exactly what Pat was talking about, all those transfers that became, quote, excess savings. It's essentially a transfer to households. Then they were spending that across 2022. So you saw the ramp up in demand, which has continued into 2023, and which the Fed talked about yesterday, that the consumers was more resilient than they expected. It's because it took longer to both run down those excess savings and create the willingness to start running up credit card and other consumer debt balances. Here's a look at where they are today. You can see they're pretty much back to where they were in 2019, which is only a signal that if they go further, that's when the trouble is likely to start. And to your point about the rise in interest rates, of course, the cost of that debt is also accelerating, which is going to put more pressure on consumers. These are part of the reasons that we have a mild recession starting in the first half of next year.